What is up? We need to get this motor put into this car by the end of the day so we can leave tomorrow morning for LS Fest. And right now, we need to drill the head for the alternator. So what I have done is taken the factory bracket and cut it off. And I used the top hole in the head on one of the factory holes in the bracket. And then you have to drill the block and tap it. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking because if you get into this sensor, that's a water port. So then you got your hands full with all kinds of stuff. All right, as you can see, I now have a hole. The trick to doing this is to have this bolt tight enough to where you can rotate your assembly and it will stay into place. And then just pick a spot between the two. It'll line up between half of this hole and this corner of this freeze plug. Just pick the middle, and from there we can go just a little bit deeper, and then we will tap it, and then we can mount our alternator bracket back on. But you're gonna wanna lube it up a little bit. This is a M10 by 1.5, and you just line it up. All you're gonna wanna do is thread that hole all the way in and then run it in and out a couple times. And just like that, you got a relocated alternator on a factory bracket. We have very carefully lowered the motor in and slid the transmission back forward to where the bolts were long enough and the torque converter spins freely. So now we're going to finish closing this gap with these 4 bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. And then we'll double check that this spins, and then we'll bolt it to the flex plate, and then we should be good for the bottom side until we can use the lift again to pick the whole car up. Motor back in the car, transmission tight, intake is on, the oil line is connected, all of the electrical connections all the way up to here are connected. I need to tighten this nut and put the fuel lines on. This piece can go back in here, like so. Then we take our map sensor and plug that in like this. Well, here goes nothing. So it runs, it turned over slow, but it runs. I will take that. And once we get the MAF and everything plugged back into it, it should run a hell of a lot better. Then we're gonna put it on the trailer and we're done messing with it until we make it to Kentucky. So that is a full, complete motor. That is a complete motor out, new motor in swap in probably 10 to 12 hours. I was not rushing through it at all. I did not want to forget anything. So I need to get it buttoned up so I can bring it up to temp and top off the coolant. But that's a wrap.